Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and I'm the host of this Sarah podcast. Hey, all that noise that you hear in the background, we are live at ABS in Chicago. And at the table today, I'm sitting with our friend Gabby Bach. She is the managing editor of Beauty Launchpad. What's up, Gab?
Hi, welcome to Rosemont.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, this is your first in-person live podcast weekend. Well, I
Yes.
got a couple questions. One, how's it going? How do you feel?
Fun. It's great. I was super wired yesterday and now I feel like I'm a little bit more chill leveled. I had two energy drinks and a coffee. So I feel like I'm feeling a little bit more chill because yesterday I was very much on a high,
Uh-huh.
but it's been fun. Yeah. So I've mentioned this in a few episodes, but obviously Bleeding Launchpad is a trade magazine for hairstylists and hair professionals, but my degree and my background is in broadcast journalism. So I've always done one of my favorite things that I did in college is we had like a live, like half an hour news broadcast. And I got to do stuff where I was like, out in the city of Chicago talking and interviewing people and doing stuff live and then being live in the news studio. And like, I loved that environment of just it being very high stakes and there's a lot going on. And like, do we have audio? Is it working? Like, and just like getting to learn and like, as students put it together entirely ourselves. But at PD Launchpad, I really haven't been able to do anything like that. So this feels like the first return sort of back to my roots and the stuff that I really love. So it's so fun and I'm so
Welcome to your
grateful.
roots.
Yeah, so grateful to have the opportunity to get to do this now.
How do you feel like doing like a live podcast as opposed to doing like a Zoom podcast?
Honestly, I think it's better. I feel like
It's always better.
there's the energy of the show floor. I feel like I'm in that kind of like work mode of like, I'm here, I'm talking to people. I also just love ABS, so I'm always super excited to be here. The energy is always super high. Whereas like on Zoom, I feel like I'm at my house. Maybe there's like my cat distracting me in the
Fair.
background,
That's fair.
like jumping up on a window or like my dog's barking and making noises. So I feel like I'm just able to fully like be present.
With
And just
Zoom,
enjoy
there's
it.
there's certainly like a disconnect,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like when you're sitting at the couch with somebody, that disconnect just isn't there.
Yeah,
Right?
you're like, it's very real. And I feel like also I just like the questions flow a lot more easily. I feel like I'm less likely to just like not zone out, but like I feel like a lot of times when we're on Zoom, I just get so engaged in like the conversation and listening that I sometimes just like become more of a listener and less of
Yeah.
like an active participant. And I like being here because I feel like the energy is flowing and I'm just like thinking a lot more and kind of just like, again, you're just more engaged because it feels so much more real.
It feels way more like just a conversation.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's it. You're just hanging out with a friend. So here's what's really cool about live events is that we get to kind of like make new friends and we get to see some older friends, not older, but friends that we've had for a while.
Friends of the podcast.
Friends of the podcast. Thank you. I'll take that. So today's one of those days. I think this is our third. Is it our third podcast? So this is our third podcast with our guest today. It's Sofie Pok, also known as Stay Gold 31. Did I get the number right?
You did.
Oh, that's awesome. I always get like everyone has a number, and I go, "Whose number? What number is that?" So Sophie's on the podcast today, and we have a lot to chat about.
Yes, I'm super psyched. Let's bring in Sofie. Let's do
Sophie,
it.
what's up, bud?
What's up? What's up? It's a nice little break. I enjoy sitting on the couch for a trade show like this. So thank you for having me.
Not behind the booth.
Yeah.
I was as I was walking by, as I went to the booth to kind of go pick you up to bring you here. It's really Babyliss has done this really cool thing is because they've taken like the stars of the industry and they've like put them behind the counter, which is so brilliant because people are going to want to get to know you. People are going to just even say hello to you, and like, oh, by the way, buy a blow dryer.
Yeah.
Right.
No, honestly, I have a lot of fun doing it because it's so techy when you have to talk about clippers, and that's not a normal conversation to have with a regular person. So
Like-
I'm able to like be at the show and really give my all in those type of aspects because those are the details that matter when people are shopping. And so with so many tools that we have, I'm like, it's overwhelming for a lot of people. So I'm like, okay, what do you use? Where are you coming from and what are you looking for? And then I try to like help pair things and let people make like an honest decision
Mhm.
because you're going to be happier with a tool that you understand versus like, okay, hey, someone told me to buy this and I'm just buying that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. And you're kind of like the tech person of the industry. Like
I am.
you're always
literally.
on that. There's two people, but actually this person's on the Babyliss team too. But there's two people that I look at and like they seem to be a year ahead of the industry, and that's you and Joel. Like the way that you guys like produce your videos and stuff it is incredible. And I love watching Joel too because he kind of has like this movie thing to him,
Yes.
Like
And that is always such a compliment when people are like, your page stands out because it's a little bit more cinematic than what I'm used to seeing in the barbering industry. So I'm like, yes, because I do like tools are obviously a really important aspect to me, whether it's in barbering, whether it's in my camera world. And it's just like, I want to be able to always showcase what I do in the highest level possible. So it makes sense to invest in camera gear, in mics and all that sort of stuff. So it's important to me.
And that software that we both have a love-hate relationship with.
Yes.
That was the whole conversation before we went on about
Yes.
this love-hate with
And
the
there's
software.
so much technical aspects that goes into doing this live and getting everything all set up and making the magic happen.
Bro, it seems like you sit down and there's more going wrong than going right at times, you know? So
The setup time versus the actual time that you are going to film. Yeah.
and then
And then you break it down and then put everything back where it was and then do it.
and
again.
even when you're in the middle of it, like shit can happen, and then you're like, you know, you're not even in that mode. You know, it's crazy.
It takes you out of it a little
Not
bit.
hitting the record button, not having a card on file.
We've done
Okay.
that before.
The very
I've done
first
that.
podcast we did together, I did. So we were on Zoom, right? And I pushed record, but I actually think I turned it off instead of pushing record.
Yeah.
So I did the opposite. It was already recording, and I didn't recognize. Who was that with?
Elizabeth Faye.
Oh yeah, it was with Elizabeth. I mean, luckily Elizabeth can talk forever, but it was with Elizabeth, and then the embarrassing part. Hello. Yeah, remember that great conversation we had? We didn't really.
I knew the thing was is that I kind of knew that we weren't recording, but I didn't say anything because I thought you weren't recording on Zoom. Like
She
so
thought I
did-
knew what I was doing, is what she thought.
Yes, because I was like, you've done enough of these episodes. I feel like you would be aware that you weren't recording. But like, I thought, because I saw you have a timer. Fun fact, we're getting behind the scenes of the podcast. Corey has a timer that he has going for the podcast to kind of give an idea of how long the conversation is going. And I saw him go like this and start the timer. And I was like, oh, great. He's recording like remote on like a desktop or something. That was him pressing record. Little did I learn like that was learned about the timer. And I was like, so yeah, that definitely didn't record. And I knew the minute that we got off, I was like, that definitely did record.
What have been some of your big tech mistakes?
Oh my gosh. So there was this huge collab choreographers, two really big ones. And they were finally doing a piece together at the end of the day. After a full on choreography like day, the two big stars did something together at the end, like a run through. And I was like, this is my time to shine. All right, let's go. I record, but I corrupted the file. And you cannot replicate the energy again. We ended up shooting it again, and I'm like, it just doesn't hit as much as the first one. But I've had those type of experience with corrupted files. So I'm like, whoever is using a camera and I'm not there, do not let it record a little bit longer and don't turn it off. Because I think what happened is I stopped the recording and I turned it off too quick, and it corrupted the file.
Oh, turned off the camera too quick.
Yeah, and I don't know why I did that. I don't know if I was thinking I was trying to preserve the battery life or something, but it's like a clipper. I think it's just like on and off, on and off. When you're not using it, turn it off, save the
Sure.
power. So things like that. I mean,
I wonder if, on that same note, I wonder if like your battery goes dead. Is there also
there usually is
critical
a
up?
good saving mode where it like can pick up where like hey, you lost these files, you want to recover now. And I use like better cards now, so I don't have to deal with that. If it does turn off, it usually can recover what I did last. But those type of things have taught me a lot, and it's through those errors that I feel like you get better at it. Like same with the audio, I'm like, okay, I make a checklist now, and I make sure I go through every one of those things.
all the checklist?
Yes, I have to.
It's kind of similar to our haircut, really, right? Like when you first started
You
off.
think
Right?
you're gonna remember it all, but you're not.
No, for the same reason, right? Because you get caught up in like the energy of the room, you get caught up in the whatever, and then there's other things going on,
Exactly.
and we all have ADD a little bit, so we all
Yeah.
get like, we all get squirreled out a little bit.
Exactly. And
That's-
once you go through so much tech problems, you become just better. And I've messed up in front of like really big people that it's so embarrassing. It made me better. So I appreciate the failures in that process, because I'm like, yeah, next time that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna have all the lenses I need, all the different camera bodies. This won't be an issue in the future.
You should
It
see the
only
size of
takes
her
one
bag.
big fail to like get me there. Yeah.
Totally, right? Like, and then you get a little OCD about it, right? Like, make sure
do,
you
yeah. Oh, I
check
double
your
check.
bags.
Did I dump this? Did I get all the clips before I reformat this card? Because that could happen too, where we've reformatted too early and we lose a couple things and not fully checked. So I'll have double copies versus not having enough and erasing them by accident.
Yeah, my hard drive yells at me. We're like, we have 4 of these files. You want another one? You're
Right.
like, yeah. It just feels
Just in
better.
case.
Yeah.
Peace of
I
mind.
also love that perspective though, because I feel like that's super important, especially like whether it is like with, camera video work or with hair, like that idea that each mistake or failure like makes you better, because I feel like a lot of people see failure as like a um, almost like a stopping point, or really discouraging of like, well, you know, how do I keep going after getting so many no's and just feeling like very burned out. And I love like that sort of perspective on it. Do you want to talk about sort of like developing that mindset a little bit and like seeing your failures as an opportunity for growth?
Yeah, totally. I think when you care about the work you produce, you don't you have pride in what you're creating. And especially if you're taking a long time, whether it's building a skill in barbering, whether it's shooting a video, like you want to make sure that you're proud of the work that you do. So I think knowing that I want to be excited, I want to feel good about what's going out that's coming from me or things that I'm a part of, I feel like I'm willing to go that extra mile to make sure if I have failures along the way, I'm trusting the process, and that's something that I fully believe in ever since I started. Where I'm like, okay, if I keep building it, it might not be good now, but there's just something that I know that if I continue doing this road little by little, I'm going to get to a good place where I can appreciate this. But right now, it might not make sense, and that's the hardest thing to like come to realization in the process, especially if you haven't gotten there yet. But I'm like, I'm just trusting that I'll be there, and it's just like in building a barbering skill. Working in a male dominated space, I'm like, these guys are so fucking good. I'm at the bottom of the barrel in the shop, but one day I want to be that top guy that's the most booked. And that's my goal. And every day that I take a step forward, I'm getting closer. So as long as I don't stop, I'm not gonna like
You
stay
got it.
stagnant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
pretty
gotta
cool.
trust it. Yeah.
And do you think it's like, or what is the line where like, is this just like bad competitiveness, or is this like I want to get better, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. It's like a little bit of ego and pride. Yeah.
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 And if you lean too much into either one, it can
Yeah.
hurt you and harm
Exactly.
you, right?
You need to know. And listen, I saw this on a podcast with Andy Frisella, and it's always stuck in my mind. You need ego and humility. The meter is like this, right? One over. You have to know when to give more of this and when to give more of this. So there's always a balancing act because you need both. If I'm stepping on stage and I'm too timid, who's going to listen to what I have to share? So I have to go up there and have to demand my presence and really teach and get that respect because they're not going to listen to you, especially at a show like this where people don't even know you and people are just walking by. You learn how to tap more into that, and it's just different. And then you got to know, okay, when I'm in a learning mode, I'm going to go humility all the way because I appreciate this person. I want to receive and I want to learn. So then you kind of tilt the meter the other way. So every time I'm in a situation, I'm always thinking about both of those. So I'm trying to figure out like where I'm at with it.
That's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, you
Yeah.
know. And like, because that ego, at least for me, I mean, that ego can go, it can shoot off so quickly, and then
Totally.
they're like, oh, Jesus.
Some people go too high, they don't come back down, and you're just like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm the exact opposite, where I'm like, especially not being a hair professional myself, I'm like, I'm just here. I'm just feel like I'm very much on the like other side of things, and I've like
but
become a
well,
lot
the
more
other thing that creeps in
doing.
between humility and ego is imposter syndrome.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and imposter syndrome can also, I mean, I think it's a little bit connected to the ego a little bit because that can go either way too. Like it can like completely shut you down, or it can kind of like get you up too high too.
Totally.
You know, like, do I belong here? And then you have something to prove that you really don't have to prove.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you know.
It's almost like a self-awareness check in those instances. You're just like, what am I doing this for? Is this for my ego or is this for something that I care about? Whether I've received something back or not, it doesn't matter. That I would still do it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have lots of conversations with my ego, honestly. You know, almost
You have
daily.
to.
You know,
And I
almost
feel like
daily.
the older you get, the harder it gets too.
Oh, I
Because
find
you
it.
second guess it.
I'm the opposite. I think. I think it gets easier because I can identify it. I go, oh, that's fucking that guy. That guy's creeping up and telling me like dumb stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that doesn't serve. That's kind of my mantra now. Is like, is this serving me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is this
Exactly.
interaction serving?
Is it helping you or hurting you?
Is it helping or hurting you? You know, it's exactly. You know, but sometimes like it feels like certainly like when I get a little bit too much Corey in the way,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it's serving me, but it's really not.
Mhm.
You know, and that's the tougher conversation because you almost have to be outside of it.
Yeah.
You know, meditation helps a lot though.
It really does.
You meditate.
The-
Well,
I
we talked about
do.
this last time.
Yeah, I started doing just like there were like YouTube meditations, but it was just like getting into the act of just being present, you know, and learning how to like shut things off because at one point I used to not be able to sit in a quiet room. It would drive me crazy. I needed like a TV sound. I couldn't sit in silence, and it's because the noise in our minds are so loud that it's just like it's like clashing in a way. So I started doing these YouTube meditations that kind of help me like center in on focusing on like right now.
Mhm.
And I feel like that really helped shift a lot for me.
You know what I find neat about it too is that once you start the practice, like I literally could jump in it right now in 3 seconds.
Mhm.
Like it,
You know how to channel it, you know.
that's a great way to put it. Yeah, you can channel, and you can channel it at any time. Like
Right, you could be driving in the car, you can be whatever it is. You know how to do it.
I do it a lot. Like if you're in a long line, you know, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, go, okay, you know what, this is a good time because
Just
I'm not
take a
doing anything
moment.
else,
Exactly.
and I don't have to move, you know, and I'll actually close my eyes, and I can
Yeah.
pop out. I can get like behind my ears, I call it, like because for me, it's almost like tunnel vision. It's
Yes.
internal tunnel vision, and then if I can get behind my ears, I know that I'm in a good spot, and now I can do it in like seconds.
Oh yeah, it's peaceful.
It is peaceful.
I
And
need
then-
to learn that. I feel like you mentioned, like that really resonated with me. Like I always, when I'm working, have because I feel like I'm very. I don't know if it's right or left brain. I don't know what it would be, but I feel like because I do a lot of editing work, like typing, whatever, and I feel like when I'm doing that, I'm like not using enough of my brain. So I'm like, I need to watch a movie or a television show or have music on in the background or a podcast, just something to feel like I'm using like all of that part of my brain. Or just feeling like I'm not doing enough. Like I have so much, like, because I consume a lot of content and just like watching movies, TV, like whatever, that I feel like I'm like not, like I need to active all parts of my brain. And
you know,
just
though,
do
I feel
more.
that though too.
And
I feel it too. I
need
feel
to
that.
like
Do you-
learn to meditate, zone out a little
With
bit.
my partner, like, and even with Katie and stuff, like sometimes if we're talking about intense stuff, I go to my phone because I can't focus unless I have to do something to kind of
You
pay
have-
more
It's
attention,
almost like you have to shed a certain part of you so that you can get to another thing.
just so I can pay attention. Like if it's a tough conversation or if it's like I'm getting that, like I'll go to like Instagram and scroll. I'm not absorbing what's happening,
Yeah,
but like I can hear better, I can focus better. I don't. It's so hard. I don't.
I've had
I
that.
don't like titles for like ADD or ADHD, but
Yeah.
maybe it
We
is
probably
kind of.
have I think everyone has a little bit of that, to be honest.
And I wonder if
Yeah.
that's my way of like managing that.
Yeah.
My wife hates it, by the way.
Uh-huh.
She thinks I'm not paying attention, but it's actually au contraire. You know, kind of like if I'm looking right in her face, I'm not paying attention at
Yeah.
that point, especially in tough conversations.
Because I'm the same way. Like I've had a cousin and then a close friend. We were like at Disney World actually. I was with my friend and we were just waiting in lines. And I think I was just like looking through my phone. Also because I was like technically I'm on vacation, but like also work needs me and feel like I can't like fully check out. And my friends will be like, you know, you've been on your phone a lot. And I'm like, I swear to God, I am listening to you and I want to be present with you. I feel like it's just like something that I do to like also just if I get overwhelmed to
Maybe
like,
it's like an adrenaline thing.
yes.
I was just listening to another podcast and he talks about like people that go on stage and if you know with the people that pace and stuff beforehand, it's like you have to like get it out of your system because if not, it shows up in you speaking fast or you just like going all
Are
over
you
the
talking
place.
about Ving?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Ving.
Oh my
Okay,
god,
he's
it
the
was
best.
so good. I love that. I love that.
Was he on
episode.
Simon Sinek? No.
He was with Steven
Steven, what's his name?
Bartlett or something.
Yes.
Diary of
Give me
CEO.
some.
Those
Yes.
are very good, and all his recent episodes with even Mr. Beast, amazing. It was like so like
I don't even know the name of it. What is it called?
um
Stephen Bartlett is the host.
Diary of a CEO.
Diary
is
of
the
a CEO. It's such a,
series.
oh my gosh, it's so great. And that Ving, first off, the Ving guy I'm fascinated with.
Me
like,
too.
like I want to take one of his courses so bad, you know, like
I relate to him so much. Like it's
so
crazy.
much, right? And like, yeah, I totally listen. Yeah, because he said he does like push-ups
Yes.
or stuff.
So ever since I watched that, I'm like, okay, let me try different things with my voice. Let me try like the tone switching, and it's just a lot of stuff that. I mean, we don't get trained to like speak on stage. It's just like a soft guideline and hopefully you can figure it out, you know? But I feel like it's always important to like understand how you communicate with people, with audiences, with workers, friends, you know, all that type of stuff.
Some of what he was saying was actually making me more intimidated. I'm like, oh, I got to do that.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh.
I was like, is my tone too low? Is it boring? Is like, what is it? Because I want to understand it.
Do you speak Khmer?
I do.
So, do you? I think Stephen asked him about that, like because he speaks Vietnamese.
Mhm.
Ving is Vietnamese, and like where a lot of the Asian language are more tonal.
Yes.
Is Khmer tonal?
It sounds to me a little bit more like Thai, if you've ever heard like that kind of language. It's like give me a sentence.
Well, how about welcome to the podcast?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how
Okay,
to say the word
shit.
podcast. Something easier.
Okay. So let's go to dinner. What's for dinner?
Oh, okay. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? Okay, I wouldn't say it's like the most. I wouldn't say it's the most complete, but I can say it to where it makes sense. Okay, what's for dinner would be, miên e nhắm.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's just like it's like regular speaking. There's not a lot of pitches or anything. It's just like
Not like in Chinese or Japanese or something like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was talking about the tonal, and immediately I go, well, is that because he speaks a tonal language?
Oh,
I've got a
right.
story for you too. I have a client who she's amazing and fascinating. She's one of the few people in the world that hold 4 awards. She has a Tony, an Oscar, all the awards, a Grammy.
An EGOT? Is an EGOT? Is that what it
I
is?
think that's what it is.
An EGOT
Right?
is an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar,
She
and a
has all
Tony.
she has all 4, right? So, but she's like
Crazy.
70, 75, right? So, but she's a violin player, and she was a session violin player. So all during the 70s and 80s, she was in the John Williams Orchestra. So that's obviously where she won her like Oscars and stuff. Here's what's crazy, what's mind blowing to me is like she was the first one to ever play the Star Wars theme. Like that blows me away.
That's
So
crazy.
she's in the John, like they just get the work. She's a session musician. She gets the work and she starts playing, which is so crazy. Anyways, all that to say is like now she's a violin instructor, and she says that and she's like a high end like violin instructor. And she says all of her students now are Asian, and she thinks because it's a tonal language that this sounds so fucking racist, but because it's a tonal language that her students have better pitch than solo English speakers, and she thinks it's because it's a tonal language that they hear the tonal differences from a very very young age, so they have better like musical pitch.
Wow,
that's her theory.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Like because we were talking. Obviously, she hates like modern music and stuff, but we were talking about it, and there's who's it like Charlie Puth or something
Charlie Puth is pitch perfect.
does
Yeah.
a ding, he does a ding ding, and like and that's how the conversation came up. I'm always educating her on like my knowledge of. It doesn't matter. I have no knowledge, but
Yeah.
that was it. That's how the conversation came up, and she said, and then she brought that up, and I go, that's really interesting. I can't immediately deny it.
Yeah, it's like makes you think about it. If that, like, I wonder if that pitch is something.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like brings up a sort of like good like secondary question of like how much is talent like oh my gosh, like nurture versus nature. Like how much of it, if you have like that sort of upbringing, like it's just kind of like feels like it's in you versus
Listen,
like how much do you have to
I'm
like
going to take
learn
a
and hustle
position
and
here,
get
and it could be wrong.
Yeah.
But it's both. Or
yeah, I think
it
it's
can
both,
be
for sure.
both because there's not enough nurture in the world for Prince, right? Like he was born that way. As Lady Gaga says, he was born that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think, but I also think like a lot of hard work, can also make you very, very gifted and talented as well.
Totally.
But I think we get a few, man. We get a few in a lifetime that are like, that's just born that way. Like
Yeah.
Prince had no option but to be a musician.
Yeah.
And probably has never did anything but be a musician.
right.
Could you imagine him waiting tables? I could.
That'd be crazy.
That's crazy. Hey, so we were talking about the videos that it's really cool actually to watch you when you put your videos together. But before we got on, you were saying that you've gotten other opportunities from that. So it's very cool too. Like your opportunities aren't just like from the barber stage or from the hair industry. Like there's
Yeah. So with barbering, at some point you need to create content to market yourself, and that's kind of where the little pathway kind of like opened up. I was like, well, I probably need to get a camera because I can only do so much with my iPhone 4 at the time.
right.
So I'm like, all right, let me get an entry level camera. I got like a Canon T3i Rebel. If you guys remember
That I still have
Yeah.
her. That was like me. I got that. I think my first one in like 2017 when I was like, I want to be a vlogger.
$200 to $400 tops for the whole thing plus a kit. All you needed was like a little nifty 50, and that was it. That was what we used for building your portfolio and video. So I was just like, okay, let me start with this. And then through that process, I just always use it as a tool to see my work. So it was a way for you to like, okay, if I see my fade on this high level of clarity, I can fix it. And it taught me how to look at my work and also edit for the next time. And the beautiful thing about the barbershop space is you're having these clients become repeat customers. So I can see the progression every week all the time.
Cool.
So I'm like, I'm learning fast. I'm seeing them every week. High volume traffic barbershop. So I take a picture. Okay, next time I see him, okay, what can I improve? And so I was using it as a tool. And so a couple years down the line, pandemic hits. A lot of people just can't leave their house. So this was a way for me to like pivot out of hair because
Like really
California
hone in on that.
California only allowed us to work 2 months out of that first lockdown year, and you had to be in a parking lot, like a dirty parking lot. Can you imagine doing a fade in the hot sun? Like,
No.
not ideal for us at all. Any kind of sweat is just not a good positioning for doing a fade. So I ended up
And
shifting.
like the head sweats too, right?
Exactly.
Get your
In a
clippers
dirty
all
parking
janked up.
lot, like really, like that's crazy. So I ended up pivoting to doing videos with my girlfriend, and then she's like, "You have a camera, like just try it, like just do it." And I was really nervous at first because I'm like, "There's just more people. Like in here, it's just me and the person, and that's it." And now I'm like shooting groups and following choreography. It's a completely different thing, but it was the reason why I feel like I've gotten the skills that I have today. It was being able to practice in that type of space and move and know how to capture things, knowing counts. Like it's like a whole different thing. And so fast forward to now, and again, this is going back to trusting the process, just knowing you don't know what's going to happen. Just if you enjoy it, hone in on it, learn it, see what people can teach you. Working with different choreographers and different groups, you just learn different things. And through
Your
that
girlfriend's a
process,
choreographer though, right?
she kind of directs now, yeah, but
Okay.
she used to be, yes. And so she put me on the first time to work with Sierra. And I was like, whoa, I'm not ready. I showed up, it was kind of embarrassing, but she's like, all right, I'm ready for like my day vlog. And I showed up with one of the first Osmo DJIs. You know, that small little thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, where's the camera? And I'm like, right here. This is what I got. I'm like, I promise you, it's better than it looks, because they're probably used to like full setups.
Sure.
Another person that I was able to kind of work with after that was Usher. That was a whole nother thing. I followed him for about a year doing Paris Fashion Week. Crazy experience because you got to get personal invites to that. So I got to like be so behind the scenes and really see this world from a different perspective. And I was like, well, if you need a cut, I could also do that. But I know I'm here for
I'm
video.
skilled too.
Yeah, exactly. And I was able to only do a beard lineup once in Paris, I think it was.
For Usher.
For Usher. I was like, I'm gonna just pack it just in case. He might not need it, he might not, but it'll be there. And I think he's like, he's got his guy that he's been going to for like
Sure.
15 years. And so I'm like, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but if you need it, like, I'm available, whatever. So I did it really quick. And he was like, I can see you're pretty good at it. And I was like, that means a lot. Like, that's
Like,
cool.
thanks, Usher.
Yeah, thank you. So from there, I still have always been doing like videography on the side, but also with the production side of like even doing it for brands, for Babelist, for Statement, being able to capture it because I feel like I know what to look for, and I think it gives me an edge on what to capture. So we've been doing a lot of like even like side content campaigns and stuff like that in those worlds. And so now I have this opportunity to work at Coachella.
Stop it.
Yes.
That's been crazy.
Which is an insane thing because when I think of concert going, I've been in the audience, just packed like sardines. It's a weird experience. I had another opportunity to shoot in the camera pit for Rolling Loud another year. So I'm like, okay, I'm inching my way.
On the stage.
Yeah.
Water's flying. I'm capturing like ASAP Rocky. Like it's just an insane experience, but it's also scary. To now this weekend, I get to be on the actual stage filming an artist for a choreography piece. So I'm just like, this is an insane progression for about maybe a 10-year span, I would say.
That's so
Yeah.
dope, man.
And like Chicago has Lollapalooza, like that's our version of Coachella, but like Coachella in itself is just different. Like
Massive.
that, it's just crazy.
What's the difference between like Coachella and Burning Man?
I've never done Burning Man. I've only gone to Coachella once, but isn't Burning Man more of like a tent style, just like a mini?
I feel like it. I have
mini
a
camping style.
family friend who I
Is it
think has
not-
done
is-
Burning Man before.
Is
But I
it a
don't think it's
concert or is it
really
not
like
a
a music
concert?
festival? I feel
Got
like it's more of like a vibe, like
Yeah.
a retreat type of.
And you like just hitch up with your neighbors and stuff, and have like just
Yeah, like no money, right? Isn't it like everything's on a trade or something too?
something like that.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Probably
dude,
not-
that's so
yeah.
cool. Like Coachella, man. And you're not even like back there with those guys. You're like up in it.
On
Yeah.
the stage, like it's crazy. Like basically, what I think I'm doing is I will be following the choreography piece, and that will be live streamed to like the bigger screens that will go in between like probably the house camera guys. So I'm like, that's so insane.
That's
like I can't
so-
miss a beat, obviously, but it's a crazy thing to happen, especially from not really. That's not literally
Not from
my
the world.
main thing that
Yeah.
I do. Like hair is kind of my main thing, so I think it just goes to show, like, if you like something that you enjoy, if you keep working at it, you just don't know where it's going to take you.
That's it, right?
And who knows if this is like going to open another door for like other videographers that do choreography particularly, because it's different than just a camera guy that's just on the stage.
So that's a
just
different niche
capturing-
within itself.
Yeah, so this is like, okay, you want an animated choreography camera person to actually follow the movement and know how to shift it with the choreographer. So it's
It's a lot more
completely different-
technical, would you say?
Super,
Yeah.
because it's on counts.
What do you? Oh, you mean like the beats, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're
Wow.
following. For our group that we're following, I think it's like 6 to 7 artists. So I have to know when to pop to this person and this person. It's not just one person. So,
So
it's
you're
multiple.
kind of like your own director then in your head. a
Yeah.
little bit.
So
And
we have like a spotter, and then she'll give me counts and I have to know.
what does
who
that
to-
sound like?
All right, on 4, you're gonna go right low. So it's like 4 right low.
So
The
you need to know what that
choreography drops.
means,
Yes,
and yeah,
But we've
wow.
been working together for so long, so it sounds like kind of crazy.
You develop your own language and kind of have
Yes.
that where you get it. Yeah,
Yes,
because do
exactly.
you
Sounds like
get
an NFL quarterback.
yeah, like having their calls in place. Because I was gonna say something like that, like you know, like you mentioned, it is very technical. Do you get like any like do you just have to just go and do it and
Rehearsal.
be like
We
yeah, or
rehearse.
do you
Oh,
get
yes.
rehearsal? So you
Yes.
get to do rehearsal
Mhm.
before you go on stage to like kind of have the great. That's so important. Yeah.
Thank God for that, because I don't think I can handle it on the fly. And we're used to doing it on the fly, like our group. Like we just whatever the work is, we're gonna get it done in every which way to make sure it's like perfect. And we run things until we get it like muscle memory. So
Perfect.
that's really great about our group. So the counters are what's crazy, because the more the choreographers are really good, they have different counts. So we do like 1, 2, 3, 4. They have like 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN. So it can get very broken down
Right.
to where you're like, shit, what? I
That's
was like, did you say 4? What's 4 EN? Like, yeah.
why. Do you because you're working with like Usher and you've worked with these other big people. Do you have a different? Do you come here with a different perspective? Because like people want to meet you, so like you're kind of living in both those worlds of like as a fan and as being someone that people want to see. Has your perspective changed as far as like what their experience is when they come to see you?
Not really. It kind of, I just try to absorb it as a whole new experience every time.
Yeah.
When I travel with them though, it's just like it's just amazing to see the perspective, and just knowing that you're with the group. It's just like a cool angle that you're not used to seeing.
Yeah.
Like what was crazy in Paris with Usher, I look like paparazzi because I have a camera and I'm running with like 100 other photographers. So I've been blocked out because they think I'm paparazzi. So they'll have to like, hey, she's with us, and I'm like, it's crazy.
That's
It's
pretty
scary,
cool.
kind of scary.
I have a client whose husband, and they're divorced now, so I'm not going to say who it was,
Mhm.
but whose husband was a pretty major like reggae star,
Mhm.
and she was telling that, and I've known her since she was 16, so way before anything, but her experience and talking about it and how like in like each country was different. Like sometimes he was treated like Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? Like people would be like waiting in the lobby to meet him and stuff, and it was kind of cool to kind of like and she's the wife of, right? So like that's a little, because you know how that goes, so it was kind of cool to watch, to listen to her perspective of it all,
Mhm.
so it's cool. She actually lives in LA now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole other story.
It's just a lot of learning and just absorbing. Like I think that's what I find that's fun about it. It's like it's slightly like educational for me to just see life in a different way. It's like, what do people gravitate to? Like I want to understand like this scenario, like the behaviors and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And I got my own like personal concert, so it was a
Huh?
really cool experience because he has to rehearse as well. So I'm literally the only person just like there in the middle, and I
You're like
get to,
being serenaded.
yeah, I'm like, this is so insane to hear all these songs and like just by myself.
Because Usher's got some bops.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I mean, because I'm a handful of years younger, but I was like a preteen, listening to like DJ's Got Us Falling in Love, and I did dance for a little bit, and I think we did like a combination to Scream by Usher. So
Mhm.
like that stuff was like a soundtrack to
Yeah.
a decent chunk of my life.
That's pretty cool. It's actually like for me at least, it's the behind the scene videos and stuff are way more interesting.
Totally.
I
Like
love that
Michael,
stuff.
like right before Michael died, like he did that whole Michael Jackson. He did that whole behind the scenes thing, and like it was really cool because on stage you're a performer.
Mhm.
In rehearsals, he's an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find that the same with Usher? Like
Yes.
it hits
Yeah.
different. Like
You-
that's the artist.
You see how much they put into it, like they have to take care of their bodies, they have to take care of their voices. So seeing them train for those type of things, because it's like, and the travel to get there and then get prepared, like it's crazy, the process.
Has that taught you anything, Rick, from the hair professional side of things? Because
Yes.
obviously, like, you're on stage for Babe, like, and we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, and, we talked to John Mosley about it as well, because he had a public speaking book come out, sort of like the things that you have to do when you're like on a show floor teaching versus like in a classroom versus on a main stage, and like how your voice changes and things like that. Do you sort of like looking at it from an artist's perspective, seeing the things they do? Is there anything like you picked up on where you're like, that would be good for me on the hair side of things, like when I'm
Totally.
teaching?
I think it's like you realize that it takes a team to
Yeah.
prepare for him to be a star. It takes all these people doing different things to make sure that person is good. So it makes you realize really quickly you can't do it by yourself, depending on what the job is. And even just working with, I used to cut hair for some influencers too, and hearing their process, how they manage 23 million followers on this channel and this channel, and I'm like, and I'm over here tripping at the time, like I filmed it 2 times and I couldn't get the words right. And I'm watching somebody do it like 21 times in front of me. And I'm like, is this like a normal process for you? Like, yeah, it's just I didn't get the word right or the tone wasn't right. And I'm just going to redo it again. And I'm watching, do it again, do it again. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, you have to repeat a lot, just like us. Like, we have to do that too. And so it really taught me to like be a little bit more patient in my creative process. It's like, yeah, the blocks are going to happen, but work through them versus letting it stop you. So
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you said that because I get in my head. What happens is like I'll flub, and I'm sure you do this too. You flub a word, and then you're like, oh, I got to do it again, and then and then you're in your head, and now you're not in the right space, and you're definitely going to flub the thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's thank you for that.
of course.
You know, like now I can release that kind of energy. Like, well, fuck everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone flubs.
Everyone flops. And when I seen someone do it at a high level, I was like, oh, I feel better about my 4 tries to his 21 in like 2 minutes, you know?
Right.
Right.
And that's somebody that does it all the time. So I'm like, okay, this is a really cool, again, another learning perspective from a different angle that helps you as a creative.
I love that.
I think that also like because I had a period in high school where I like played around with like filming YouTube videos and like booktubes, so talking about like books and publish like all of that. And I would film videos and like because I talk so quickly, I would definitely flub out my words, and so I'd want to have these like perfect takes. And I think like almost even doing this podcast too has kind of really shaped my view on that because I've almost been like, that's human. Like, you're not going to articulate every word perfectly. Like, languages are imperfect. And it just feels like it's more human. So instead of feeling debilitated by that, I'm like, it happens. And you keep going and you let it be part of your human way that you
Thing.
present yourself,
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah.
Actually, when we first started the podcast, I went through the first 5 episodes that we did. I took out every pause. I took out every
Yes.
I took out everything. And then I kind of, I was like, I can't do 10 hours for every hour that we produce, right? Like, I just can't do that. And then I just realized, I go, people are going to like us or not like us. You know, we're not
Exactly.
professional broadcasters. Like, nobody's like listening to us because we're professional broadcasters. Hopefully, we can be human enough and authentic enough that people care. You know,
Right.
and that's and you know what happens with the authenticity? You and you flub words and you mumble and you speak with a really bad Maryland accent. I didn't even realize I had until I started the podcast. I'm like, who the hell is that Maryland accent coming from? Oh, that's you, dickhead.
Yeah.
And I think you've gotten better because you also do podcasting. So you have to edit and you know what you say. Sometimes people don't even give themselves a chance to record and listen because at the first stage of it, you hate your voice.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know why I sound like that.
Mhm.
And then you get used to it and then you're like, okay, I could make that more concise. So as I edit also the videos of like the talking and doing videos for like haircutting and stuff, you see how you speak and then it teaches you how to like reframe things a little bit better. So I think there's also like a way for you to like edit yourself as you do it, but you have to try to film yourself and edit.
That's also something I find fascinating because I know I listen to a lot of actors and sort of well, like again, like the behind the scenes stuff. I love that sort of stuff, and that's kind of of what sparked my passion for journalism was watching all the like DVD bonus features for like all the DComs and movies like I grew up watching. And so many actors say like they hate watching themselves. Like they'll go to movie premieres because they have to, but then they'll like duck out when the movie's actually screening because they're like, I hate watching myself. Or TV episodes, they'll like film them and never watch them. And then they'll have to go and like do a like rewatch podcast that's now super trendy years later and be forced to watch the episode to talk about it and be like, this is the first time I've watched it. And the episode's like 30 years old. Do you find that you don't mind listening to yourself when you're having to edit all the videos, or do you have that same sort of insecurity where you're like, I don't like watching myself?
I think it depends on the person and their personality.
Yeah.
Some people are really good on the fly and they don't need preparation. That's my girlfriend. She's wonderful speaker. You can put her in any setting and she's amazing. She draws people in and I find that so amazing. It's kind of like a Sam Villa. Like when I watch him, I'm like, I don't need to learn about these curls, but like I just want to listen to you. Like, And for me, I need time to edit. I need time to
Process it.
I'm okay with critiques from feedback. All that for me is helpful. For her, she doesn't need it. And I find that so crazy because I'm like, you don't have to read books. I have to read books. I have to learn how to like fix all these things. and she just
Does it?
she just does it, and I'm like, how do you do that? Is that something you're born with? Is that something that you can fix, or is that just like who we are as people using different parts of our brain? That's just what you're gonna have to understand about yourself,
Right.
so that you can get the tools to like fix whatever it is that you want to fix.
For the record, before we went on, Sophie said she stopped reading books because all she does is chat GPT now.
I do. I love it. Chat
I do
is
too.
it's amazing.
I don't even Google anymore. Do you Google?
No. I Google if it's like because you know how sometimes chat's a little off if you're looking for like certain facts. So a few times I will check because I'll
So I
test it. I'll
prompt it.
test it. I'll test it with like barbering tools that aren't accurate. And I'm like, okay, it's not that on point.
Oh, right.
It needs time for some things, so I'll double check it if I feel a little weird. For the most part, I think it hits pretty good for me.
I think so. I mean, when it comes to like news or politics and stuff, I prompt it not to play my ego, right? I'm not looking for you to agree with me. I'm not looking for you to argue with me, but I'm not looking for you to agree with me. You know, just give me the facts as you know them.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot as far as like sourcing through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it for technical situations. I'm like in the middle of setting something up. Hey, I have this FX6 and it's not triggering the whatever, it's adding this color. And sometimes it's great because you can even screenshot what you're dealing with and it'll be like, oh, you're having artifacts because you're not exporting in 10-bit, like all this other stuff. And I'm like, this is so helpful.
Which you can't really get from Google.
Yes, and I love reading sometimes because it's faster than me watching a video and having to scan through
Yes.
for the answer. I'm
Yeah.
like, give me it in words because I need it quick.
Yes, I'm the exact same way, and it's sometimes hard to Google like stuff like that because you're having an issue and you're like, how do I Google this to get the answers that I want? And that would like work a lot better with AI.
100%.
I'm such a big fan.
Me too.
It's changed everything. It's even changed the way that I think about things,
Mhm.
to be honest, because there's a perspective.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you learn that the better you get at asking, the better answers you get. Because at first we're really like broad and it's like, okay, chat kind of sucks if this is all it's giving me. But you got to get
When it's
good
actually
at
you
it.
that sucks.
Yes, yeah, basically. It's a mirroring effect. So the more you can dial in what you really want from it, the better the answers you get. Yeah.
That's it, man. I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes you feel like a genius too.
Yeah.
What has done really good for me too is that, back to imposter syndrome or feeling insecure about stuff is like, I barely graduated high school, so like the way that I write is really bad. The way that I use words in the wrong way and stuff like that. So I can just like put in like my ideas, and then it go, oh yeah, okay, well here's what you're really trying to say. I go, you've got it.
Exactly. You can build the intention of what you want, and then you allow it to make it more concise and easily to communicate.
Do you ever? I do this too. Little win is like if you send me an email, I'll be like, help me respond to. I'll cut and paste the email and go, help me respond to this, and then it'll give me a couple ideas of how to respond to it.
Yes,
which I find genius as well.
Love that.
Have you ever? I also use it. This is going to get so nerdy. I also have it write bios. But here's the thing. So I go, help me write a bio. But what I don't do is like, ask me 10 questions how to write a bio. But I'll go like, ask me questions to write my bio. And then it'll just spit out. And then it just becomes like matter of fact. How long you been in the interview? I know that answer. And I know that, and I know that, and I know that. Or have you won any award? Have you, you just like kind of fill that in. And then, man, does it make it sexy? Because I don't know the sexy words.
Yeah.
Yeah. How to articulate it.
I know, because
By the way, she's dying right now because she's a writer.
I'm not a writer, so my lingo sometimes is so simple. I'm like, I'm looking for a more descriptive word, but I just don't have it in me naturally. So it helps me kind of like redefine like what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think like I very much, and I was talking to my mom about this too, exist in like I have one foot in both camps because the hair industry, I feel like, is very pro AI, and I think that makes sense because a lot of people in the hair industry, at least the people that I'm talking to on a regular basis, are like educators and creators, and then they're working behind the chair. Like they're doing 9 million things, and you just need something in your life to make your life more efficient. So I think it makes sense for the hair industry to just have that. And I think you also speak like a different language. Like I think hair people are very like in a way that I'm not. And so I get it 100%, but I feel like I also have a lot of friends because I went to an arts college that are so anti-AI and are like, it's bad for the environment and just like vehemently hate it and hate anyone who uses it. And
we gotta have people hate with that?
Yes.
It's a fucking machine.
Like people are like, it's going to destroy the environment and also it's making people dumber. And like, it's just very, like I hear a lot of very anti-AI arguments.
It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not going anywhere. It's how you use it and take advantage of it, I believe. And I think like with any tool, like, I mean, it's the same thing. Like we've gone through waves of this, like people being anti-social media and like worried about like with any new innovation, there's people who are going to be anti it because they're scared
Sure.
about their privacy. And then you just continue to advance and advance and advance. But I think from like a creative side of things, like there's a lot of people who fear AI, like taking away their creative skills or their like sort of ability to like be creative because they're like AI will just be able to do all the things that I'm be able to do,
I
especially
disagree.
artists and people who draw or like do all of that because people have been using AI for that. Do you sort of feel like because you're in the hair industry, which uses it a lot, and then like you're kind of in the like concert and entertainment space, do you feel like because you exist in that space, like where do you feel like maybe the hair industry is at with AI versus where like the entertainment industry is at? Because I feel like the entertainment industry isn't maybe adopting AI as quickly as maybe the hair industry is. I don't know. I could be entirely wrong.
It's a little 50-50. I feel like if you're an artist, let's just say like even one of my friends, she doesn't really like writing because she enjoys the act of writing herself and using what
Yes.
she went to school for. But we're always just like, just use it. It's just faster. But the thing is, it's like it can make you better if you use it right.
Right.
You might have like your base and whatever, but maybe this will just help give you another idea of how to say it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if like even with hair, it's not going to replace somebody cutting hair. Of
Right,
course.
right, right.
There's a humanistic side to that part that you can never replace. But I think the way we want to package and grow our business can definitely be
Yeah.
helped with AI.
Okay.
So I feel like that's where it can help us. And also I use it for gear recommendations as well. Like
Yeah.
if I don't know where to start, I'm like, hey, this is what I have. This is my budget. Can you come up and scour the internet and tell me like some similar things that I can use?
And like that.
Also with that, like I've done those same things, and also I ask it to just a little here there is I ask it for links. So
Links.
give
Oh,
me
yeah, yeah.
give me what you recommend, and also give me links to it as well. Because sometimes it'll just give you the recommendation, and then you're like, oh, now I gotta go find it.
Yep.
You know, and then or I'll go like give me links to the cheapest or whatever. You know, like then I can value shop on there as well.
Yep,
You know, it's not always accurate, but you know,
Yeah.
it gets you pretty good there.
It gets you closer to what you're looking for, and then you use your own brain and figure out what works best. Because I
Figure out
do
the
it even with like I'll just even do comparisons. Compare this product with this product. This is where I'm at. And the good thing about having chat is it saves who you are. So all of that old history is part of its brain. So
That's my
it's
favorite
giving,
part.
yes, I don't have to start from scratch. It knows, all right, since you're a content creator, you'll probably like this one, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, beautiful.
Oh, that's so
Seconds. You gave me that answer in seconds. I needed
Exactly.
that.
I've got your opinions about
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, it's so cool. Do you ever ask it like weird stuff like, what do you know about me?
No, I don't ever do that one. I
Oh,
keep it
you're
just-
going to right now.
I'll try and see what happens. Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Or sometimes you'll go like, okay, I use it with everything that you know. That's my lead. With everything that you know about me, give me a 12-month like calendar to fulfill my dreams or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Oh, right.
And it's pretty cool. It's
That's
pretty cool the
great.
way it does it. Go, okay, on Monday you're going to do this or whatever.
Wow. Okay.
On that note, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. You're Cambodian.
Yes.
So I'm going to Cambodia in July. I'm doing this really great project called Hair Aid. And what we do is we're going to be training like sex workers and former sex workers how to cut hair, and just hopefully their future has a few options. Were you born there or were you born in the States?
Born in the States. But my mom was born over there, her whole family. My dad, I think, was born over there as well, but I think when he met my mom, he was already over in the States.
He's already in the States. Have you been back?
I never been.
You
never
want to go?
I wanted to go, and if I did go, I think I wanted to do that as well.
The Hair Aid?
Yeah. I'm not sure yet because I think their last memory of it is pretty sad because they had gone through the war and all of that. So I think it's a little bit sensitive for them. So I'm not sure if they want to, but if they do, I would love to go back with them.
With
I
them?
don't think I would want to go without them.
So if you did, you would want to like do Hair Aid and then convince them to go back?
I don't know.
There's a lot of history there, though.
It is a lot of hiskry.
You know, it's
Yeah.
and like it. I mean, just 2 cents of it is like in the mid '70s there was a the Khmer Rouge and they executed a lot of people. And what kind of freaks me out about it a little bit is that the people they were executing were those that they thought were intellects. You know, it was
Exactly.
like journalists. It was
They would
like
ask you questions like, what is your education level? And if you were smart, they're going to find a way to get rid of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. And they actually have a and I haven't been. I plan on going, but I haven't been there. But like they have a genocide museum there, and one of the displays. First of all, I live in D.C., so there's the Holocaust Museum, and in the Holocaust Museum they have a bunch of shoes that were that that they've collected. And at the from my understanding, at the Genocide Museum, they have glasses because if you wore glasses, that was enough to put you on the radar.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it
a
was
pretty
seen as
insane
intellect.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing is they asked my grandpa, "What do you do?" And he said he was a teacher, but he was overly bragging about it to the point they thought he was lying, and that is literally what saved him.
Really?
Because teachers were out.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is, so my mom was like early teens. It's a there's 5 siblings and 2 parents and 1 great grandparent, her mom's mom, and they all got split to different camps. So my aunt and my mom were nearby camps. And again, there's like no maps, there's no phones, there's nothing. They're in these 2 camps, grandparents and oldest son is in this camp. And the only way they were able to come over is only because my
Come
grandpa,
to the U.S.
yes, they
Yeah.
were sponsored over because my grandpa had taken a course in New York or something to learn English because he was a teacher. And through that process, he met somebody that sponsored them, that moved them, that got the whole family to come to Orange County in California. So it's an insane way of how they were able to maneuver over. But the whole separating of not knowing who, like my uncle was like, yeah, I was just standing outside. And when everybody was trying to like escape and like find a way out, he just randomly saw his sister that he hadn't seen in a couple
No.
years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my aunt saw my mom, and it was just like random. And she's like, sometimes I would carry extra food because I knew like the camp that your mom was at didn't give a lot of food because they're like portions. There was just like enough to like not die probably. The little kids and the guns and all of that, it's insane. And like, how do you not step on a landmine? That's just crazy to me.
I was reading that even at like when you visit like the Angkors, the big Watts and stuff, when you're in Angkor Wat, like they brief you to stay on the
See that?
walkway. Stop it.
That's gorgeous.
Angkor Wat right here.
Yeah, that's
And
so
then I
dope.
have the Apsara here. It's just a more modern version, but it's
Sure.
like the dancers and the Bayon.
Oh my gosh, that's so
It
cool.
was like a Cambodian dedicated arm.
That
yeah.
is so
And
dope.
then this is Battambang, which is where my grandma was born. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Is that where the bats are?
not sure. Not sure.
Because there's this one area, it's kind of like Austin, and like they have like 5 million bats in this cave
Oh,
system,
wow.
and they all
Scary.
obviously they fly
Yeah.
all out at the same time, and it's really cool. Dude, I'm both like
Yeah, no, I want to hear
anxious
you
and excited.
experience once
We'll
you
talk
go.
afterwards.
Yeah, totally.
We'll definitely talk afterwards. I was actually talking to Salon Evo last night. They want me to do a blog about it,
Oh,
or they
cool.
want AI
Very
to do a
cool.
blog about it.
There
But
you go.
yeah, I mean, it's a weird feeling because I'm really excited about going, but I'm also like, there's a lot of history that.
Yeah.
But here's what's crazy about the history is that it's modern history. Like, there's not one person that I'm going to meet there, including, I mean, honestly, you're here, and how the Khmer Rouge didn't affect them directly.
Mhm.
There's not a person I'm going to meet that isn't that way.
Right,
And
right.
the Cambodian people are often voted the nicest people in the world. So I'm excited about that.
They
too.
were even getting rid of people by skin color.
Stop.
Yeah, I forget if you were light skinned, that would also put you in the bracket of like intellectuals. Get rid of them.
It's so
Yeah,
wild.
it's insane. I mean, there was like 2 million people executed at
Yeah.
that time.
Well, even at like at S21, which is the school there, like still to this day, like bones are floating up. Like during the rainy season, like bones will float up.
That's
And
crazy.
and one of the rooms there has like 2,000 skulls in it. And, so, and I'm like, and here's what's weird, and I've had to kind of like deal with this is like, if it was like a caveman skull, like I have no relationship with it. Like I don't care. Like it's
Yeah.
just a skull. It looks pretty dope. You know what I mean? I might have some skull tattoos. But to think that they could be alive today changes it.
Mhm.
Or to think that their kids are alive. I mean, their kids are alive today. That changes your relationship with the skull. It's no longer this like this. I don't know I don't know what it is, why it's different, but it's different.
Mhm.
You know what I
Feel
mean?
that.
It's like, and I think also knowing that they all died execution style, I think is also
Mhm.
different.
My mom has an older sibling that went to work and never returned. So for all they know, I mean, I think she probably got executed somewhere, but she never returned. And when they were all traveling over, there was a young girl that was by herself who took the place of my missing aunt, who became her just to like be able to travel out.
Sure.
So she took her name and her place, but is not really like my aunt, but I call her
Close
fake
enough.
aunt.
Fake? Do you?
Yeah, I'm not very close with her, but
Obviously, if you're calling her fake aunt, Sophie.
Wow.
I mean,
This is my best friend, fake aunt.
she's a nice lady. I haven't seen her in a couple of
I bet
years,
you haven't.
but I'm like, that's pretty crazy. Like they saved her, you know?
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. We certainly in the DC area, there's a lot of there's a large Vietnamese, and there's a lot of those stories too.
Yeah.
And we've worked with a bunch of people that it's saying left during kind of the war and what their story was. You know, kind of in that like 75, 74 kind of time. It's kind of wild, man.
It's intense, yeah.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna just bet you should come with me. So I'm going in July. Just come with me. Just hang out with me.
This July,
Right, 2 months from now, 3 months from now,
we have a huge event in LA. I don't even know.
or you could change your life. No pressure.
What? I'll have to think about it. Let me
Okay,
know.
that's cool. Yeah, we'll have to. Here's what's really cool too. As I'm doing more studies and reading about it, is that like everyone in the city speaks English,
Mhm.
and all the menus are in U.S. dollars, or all the everything that you buy is in U.S. dollars. They actually prefer U.S. dollars. So they talk about like an easy trip.
Mhm.
You know, if you're gonna go to Southeast Asia, like, is there an easier country to kind of visit? Because
Right.
all that stuff is pretty much already taken.
Mhm.
When we do the project, that's going to be in some of the villages, so we'll have like a translator there.
Oh, cool.
In the villages, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Again,
me too.
it's
I'm
a
excited
weird-
for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. We'll definitely chat afterwards. We even do a podcast.
Okay.
Oh, you should just grill me on it.
A what?
You should just grill me on the experience.
Okay.
Your questions, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Like switch
Cool.
it. Do like a switch up. Like Sophie interviews you.
I would love that.
Okay.
That'd do it. We could do it. I mean, yeah, we'd do it here, but
Yeah, wherever. I'm down.
That's cool. We'll just switch chairs.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Sophie, thank you so much. By
course.
the way, thank you for always giving us the time.
Of course.
You know,
Yes.
like I love hanging out with you, and I just love like kind of getting. It's really cool to me because I kind of like watch what you're doing, and then to be able to, you're so open about talking about it too, and having a perspective like that. That's pretty dope.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. You got anything before we wrap?
I mean, I guess let people know where they can find you.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Super easy. I'm Stagel31 across all channels. I have LUT packs. I'm trying to build like some like digital tools for people to kind of help in their creative process. Definitely check it out.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
And then since you plugged your Instagram handle, I'm kind of curious because I know you also have it tattooed here. How did you pick like Stay Gold? Because it just reminds me of The Outsiders. Stay Gold.
People always say that.
Yeah.
Like, is that an outsiders thing? And it is a book that I remember reading in high school. But when it was empty, I was like, I really want to get my hand tatted, but it has to be something that kind of means a lot because it's visually always there. It's something I'm going to see every day.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do fuck love and all of the more generic ones. But then I was like, and then I came across this word and I was like, I like the idea that it sounds being true to yourself, because I don't know if it's like a Gemini thing, but I feel like I've always been very adaptable to too many things that I get lost. So this was like a reminder to stay grounded in every situation. So I feel like it's just a constant reminder of that. And that's why I got it.
What's the 31?
Birthday number. I couldn't get Stay Gold by itself as the handle.
Clearly.
And also eventually it became my Instagram handle shortly after that when I had just gotten this tatted. But the 31 is my birthday number.
Nice.
Like March 1st?
May 31st.
May 31st.
Nice. Coming
coming
up.
Yes. Yeah. By usually it's always Orlando premiere my birthday.
Yeah, I was gonna
We'll
say
be there,
like that's
dog. We'll be
Orlando
there.
premiere.
We'll be
Cool. Then are you going to be a premiere this
I'll
year?
be there,
Amazing.
yes.
We will. Both of us will be there as well. So we'll have some birthday
That's cool.
celebrations, birthday
Amazing.
drinks.
Yeah, that'll be good. And also, you can always find her at the Babyless booth.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
Babyless, Babyless, Bobulous. Or not.
Okay. It's Babyless, Babyless. It is not Baby Bliss.
So what do they say in house?
I say, most people say Babyless. I'd say more. I think I see the baby first, so I say Babyless.
I see the baby first, too.
Yeah.
I
said,
know there's a strong accent on the B, so I get that it should be Babyless, but I think my initial was Babyless, so I've always just kind of stuck to that.
but not Baby Bliss.
But not Baby Bliss.
Never.
Never
Just
Baby Bliss.
never
Never Baby
Baby
Bliss.
Bliss.
No.
That
Have
feels like a
have you got
different
a
brand
chance to play with
completely.
that tool right there?
I barely saw it yesterday morning. I was going to ask them to send me one.
The style switch?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Like the style switch is
The
like
little diffuser handpiece, it was like really cool. And then the little, it's like a stick blow dryer once you put the attachments on. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool too. Presley loved the diffuser. She's like,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, she was really reacting to that in our
Yeah.
morning meeting.
I can imagine. I would love to sit through one of your
It
morning
was
meetings. Oh my
hilarious
God.
because she just put she was just blowing the air in her face. And it was like in front of all of us, so we were just cracking up.
That's so fun. That's so cool. Once again, thank you, bud. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
this. And
Thank you.
until the next time, well, the next time you're going to be interviewing me,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
We'll have to do that
I got a
later in
lot
the
of
summer.
questions, Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to answer them.
I hope you take a lot of pictures.
That's the plan. I'm actually, I was
Or
thinking
you should
about,
bring somebody with you to shoot the whole thing.
Sophie, what are you doing in July? You should come and shoot me for the entire month
That
of
would
July.
be crazy, like a documentary style.
I would,
I
oh my
love
God, I would love
docu-style,
that.
like shooting.
That would be fun.
You done a lot of that?
I like that a lot. Yes.
That's very cool, man. All right, we're getting out now. I'm gonna get in trouble otherwise.
Okay.
Sophie, thanks for hanging out.
Of course.
Thanks for
Thank you.
thank
having
you.
Why am I
and-
waving? I don't know. That just felt
We
like
can wait.
That works. We can wave. Oh, hi everyone.
that just felt like so like Zoom instinctive to just like
It
wave.
is a Zoom thing.
I know.
Bye.
Bye.
As it goes dead. That's awesome.
Like,
Miss Gabby,
Where's
Miss
the end? Where's
Sophie.
the end call?
Just get me out of here.
Get out. Get out. You never want to be the last one in. They're like,
No.
awkward.
Bye. Click. Very Sesame Street. All right, guys. Miss Sophie, Miss Gabby, thank you guys very, very much for joining us on your day off.